is going to be a special video of me ranting out a topic I normally never would talk about, and that is why I stopped shoplifting. Alright, so back in high school and well into college years, like I think second, third, almost like all of college too, I was shoplifting, right? I would shoplift from like little things, food and meals in ShopRite, or if I go into the city, I would take sometimes like clothes or things that are kind of expensive that I can't afford at the moment. Um, and it was very easy. It's not that hard to shoplift in America, and if you get caught, the consequences are not that high unless you're shoplifting like jewelry and expensive things. So the benefits really outweighed the risk, at least in my head, right? And recently, as you guys know, that shit hit the fan. I'm waking up with all kinds of thoughts, right? Going back to shoplifting and even other shit that I wouldn't put on camera, shit that your parents tell you to stay away from, right? They're nightmares, that kind of shit. Okay, things that bring in a lot of money, not a lot, but they bring in a decent heck lot of money for the amount of effort you put. So this video is going to be pretty much me talking myself out of not doing these things. All right, so it's going to be explaining to myself why it not only doesn't make sense, but it's not worth my time to do any of these things, right? So let's begin. First of all, as usual, let's break down two of the main forms of activities in this spectrum, which is a massive difference, right? But it could be put in the same category by most other people, and that is this. Number one is the type of things you can do either harms people or serves people, right? So in these things that you call, oh, they're illegal, there's two types of general activities, right, that actually harms people, like, if you're fucking stealing and shit, or if you're using credit card scam, that harms people, right? Not that bad because you're in America, they never have to pay it back anyways, but still does something that's negative to other people. The other thing you do is serve people. Like, there's a huge market of drug use around anywhere you live in America, and if you were to get your hands on quality stuff, usually you're helping out people. I'm not talking weed, I'm usually talking about other stuff, because weed is usually good quality, right? It's just whatever. But anything else, you're usually, I feel like you're serving people, because these are people who are buying bullshit quality drugs. Usually MDMA is the main culprit, and I, or anybody that, I don't know, knows on the deep web, or even has some friends in California and things like that, can usually get very high quality drugs, and you could sell it to people around your college area. Why am I teaching you guys how to make money by selling drugs? Anyways, you get what I mean. That's what I call serving people, right? These are people who are looking for the thing, and they're fucking buying shit that's already harming them more than they would if they were to get more quality stuff. So it's like, here you go, man, and you make money at the same time, right? Now, like I said, why is this easy? Like, you think about it, a lot of people in college, who are in the party scene, they sell drugs, they sell weed. Why is it that it's so easy to do this? Why is it people flock this way? And the answer to that is because you slice the competition in eighths. You see what I did there? So normally, let's speak about it. All right. So if you were to sell something, anything, usually, unless you're very entrepreneurial and creative, you probably have competition, right, all over the place. And when you choose to do something that's illegal, or selling drugs and stuff, you're basically slicing the competition with everybody who is afraid of the system, right? Everybody, which is a lot of people, most people are afraid. Oh my God, the cops are gonna come and all this shit, which is good, because then the competition is sliced, right? Like, you're not actually competing with everybody, you're competing with the few people who are taking the risk of getting fucked over by the system, right? That's just the way it works. And then again, it's cash, and it's people want it, and it's a want, and all that shit that comes to it. And then, it's a pretty easy thing, right? If you can buy something for bulk and the price is probably like tripled, quadruple in some places, depending on what you're selling. So yeah, so I broke down the, two things, two spectrums. One harms people, one serves people. The other is why it's easy, right? Now, after explaining this, even as I'm saying it, I'm thinking like, what the hell? Why am I been making this video? I'll just go make some calls and start doing this again, right? Because I'm barely gonna be able to pay my rent this month, right? So the reason why I am not going to do this is this, okay? It's not because some moral shit, because to be honest, I don't have much of that. It's pretty logical, and the things I do has to be in line with how I feel and what my thoughts are going to be about my actions later on, right? And doing things like I explained it doesn't have that big of a thought process. I mean, explanation to myself, right? I don't care if I do things that's against the system ever. I just don't. I'm not that I'm a badass and stuff like that. I just don't see it that way. I see it that the system is taking advantage of the people, but that's for another video, right? Anyways, last thought on the system. I wouldn't do anything that's like too risky, obviously. Like I said, I'm not a fucking badass, because again, like I said, the system can fuck me over too. I don't want to go to jail and stuff. Anyways, okay, so now that I explained that, this is the reasoning why I don't do easy things anymore. Like completely easy things. And when I say easy, I'm talking about these things, right? Because there's nothing in the entrepreneur land that's easy, okay? All right. That is this. So when I'll use shoplifting as an example, because I don't want to use anything else as an example. It makes me uncomfortable to say it on video. When I used to shoplift, I realized, and I remember this very clearly because it's the reason I stopped. Okay? Every time I would go to a mall, from the time I set my foot out the door from my home and I'm walking to the mall, my thoughts would completely be thinking the whole route I'd be taking through the aisles and what's I'm going to take and what actions I'm going to take and stuff, and trying to remember where I saw the last camera and things like that, and which aisle doesn't have the camera, so it'll be like a side view from the aisle next to it, all the shit, right, that I would remember. And I would do the whole thing, and I would go and I would take everything and I get out, and I would feel the rush of getting out, and it's all good, and feel that little rush of I don't know, it's addicting, right? They say it's kleptomaniac. It's addicting to steal shit. And then the reason I stopped, that really cut it, made me stop completely, was this. Every time, whenever I was into doing that, it was really hard for me to think of anything else, right? It was really hard for me to come up with new ideas and ways and really go after those ideas. So what I'm talking about, like for example, I'm doing SEO now, right? I'm getting clients and I want to serve clients with marketing for their business, right? Right now the industry is changing, and I'm gonna have to come up with new ways to not just sell them but also serve them, right? Because ranking is not as easy. So one is I have to come up with what service I'm going to learn, and then also like go after it, obviously, right? Like the effort. Both of those get more difficult to do when you start doing these easy things. Why? Because what the fuck? You're doing something here that is barely takes any effort and you just get compensated for it. And here you're gonna go do simultaneously something that's like so much harder, and you don't get compensated right away for it. It's for the long haul or whatever you call it. It's the game. It's the real shit, right? And it's very hard. And anybody who used to do anything before will be able to attest to this. I'm 100% sure. It's very, very difficult to be able to make money in the easy side of life, doing this kind of side little bullshit. And it is bullshit. How far are you really gonna get, right? I mean, unless you're trying to take huge amounts of risk, you're never going to be a millionaire through doing these kind of easy things, no matter how you put it. And this is how really I thought of it, right? Because I had thought it before. I'm like, fuck all this shit. I could just do things like this until I completely make it and I have everything I want. But then the risk outweighs, and how far are you really going to get? Cops will be involved, and yada, yada, yada. And how much how fulfilling will it really be in the end, right? Now again, I'm not talking about some moral shit. I'm talking literally like, how will you feel? You will always have in the back of the head like, damn, I knew that it was possible to do it through the entrepreneur way because people have done it, and I didn't challenge myself. I didn't step in the game because I didn't have the balls. You'll have a lot of money and you, even if you don't get caught by cops, right? So I'm just giving it how it plays out, right? And then here, to do little things and then simultaneously working the entrepreneur thing, it just doesn't work, right? So it just jumped from one point to another, right? So yeah, and I'm trying to think some more ways, because when I thought in my head, it just sounded much more compelling. I really want to sell you guys this ideas, so and while doing so, I sell it to myself. Basically, a good example would be, let's see, does Jim have a good example? Not really. Because there's nothing in the gym you could do that brings in a lot of results that's very easy, and then simultaneously you're expecting yourself to do like squats and fucking calf raises, which doesn't bring results easily. But you get my point, right? Just anything in life. Anytime you have something that works very easily but is not the way to go, you can't do that at the same time, right? My thought is overwhelmed. I don't want to think outside the book. Like, I don't want to think, right? And the best ideas come when you're fucking broke. Every single time, right? You're shooting yourself in the foot. Trust me, you're shooting yourself in the foot. Completely straightforward. Shit's hitting the fan, especially for people who's not like bugged down by it. It doesn't cost me a lot of emotional energy to just be like, fuck it, I'll just do it. It's just not that daunting for me. I know I can do it. I know I can get away with a lot of shit. So especially people like me is really shooting myself in the foot, because that's the type of attitude that can continue with it, because it's just like, it's just like that, exactly that motion, right? Just why not, right? It's bringing some extra cash. You're making it 2,000, 1,500 without taking a lot of risk even, right? You're actually getting other people to do the thing, but you're just like getting the deals to play out. There's another nugget there, the last one I'll give. But all these things, since you're involved in that world, the world where there's no competition, or like the world there's so much less competition, only the competition of the people who are willing to take the risk, you get addicted. You get addicted to a smaller game. I got the perfect idea. Game servers. Okay, so anybody who played RuneScape or some nerdy ass fucking game like World of Warcraft, you know that it takes months, if not years, to level your character up, right? You cut and kill monsters for about 8 to 10 hours every day to do one level. And there's 100 levels, or usually RuneScape had 132, I think. And the higher you get, it takes more. So by the end, from level 90 to 91, it takes like a month to get from 90 to 91. But in the level like 10 to 20, it takes like a couple weeks, right? And then private servers were born. Private servers are basically games they exactly replicated like RuneScape, but there it takes 1/10 of the time, right? So you kill the same monsters and you level up a lot quicker, so you get to be able to the strength you want to be, and then you can go peek in, hunt and kill people and do all the shit you can do in the game, but you just don't have to wait for the years of leveling, right? When you started to play private servers, it was really annoying to come back to the real servers, right? It was really annoying because the amount of the time difference you felt here of you can just leveling up instant more gratification. We're talking about games here anyways, compared here where you have to just keep on killing boring monsters for so much more time before you can actually do the things you want to do. Now, to make the analogy even better, if anybody who did this, if you're watching this video, you will definitely understand what I'm saying. This, whenever you're playing in private servers, there's always a want to transfer those skills to the real server, because you want to really own in the real world. You want to be a person deep down who competes with every fucking buddy, right? Such as starting a business. You're competing with the whole fucking like America. You're competing with the whole system. Everybody who has access to it, and you really want to own in this. If you could, deep down, anybody who does any kind of runs gangs, and they did studies on this, who are like the most badass people, they kill people and they run gangs and all they really want to do is they want to just be important and somebody valuable in the system. And since they couldn't, they went to that side world of bubble, that that private server where it's a lot easier, and they had so much trouble in the end, most people to transfer into the real world, right, if you want to call it. So yeah, guys, I hope I gave some more points on that. It's basically your energy, your mental energy to come up with new ideas and effort is limited, right? You can't do everything. You're told this as you're fucking a kid, but you can't do everything, right? Once you are doing things that are like shoplifting and everything that is in that area, your mind and all your energy is used to think and how to excel, or just gets comfortable, and all you think about is how to do more of those kind of stuff, right? Because it's easy and it works, and you find out ways and you know more people and things like that. It's like, just like I said, you create a new game of itself, right? And it's very hard for you to win in here. And since my main goal is to dominate here, I will not step there. Hope that helped. Peace.